Assalamu alaikum. For today's lesson, I'm going to cover the following: sun letters, and when the word al, i.e. the, is in the middle of a sentence. Now, the Arabic word for the is al, and the way you write al is an alif with a fatha on top of it and a lam with a sukoon. There are 14 letters in Arabic referred to as the sun letters, and they are as follows: ra, za, sin, shin, صاد, ضاد, طا, ظا, لام, نون, ذال, دال, ثا, and ta. Now, these are referred to as the sun letters. So whenever any one of the above sun letters comes straight after the word al in Arabic, then the letter lam in al is not pronounced. So you don't pronounce the letter lam in the word the in Arabic whenever any one of these letters comes straight after the word the in Arabic. Instead, the letter alif in al joins onto the sun letter and the lam remains silent. Now, one thing to note is also the sun letter has to now have a shadda marking. This is a W-type vowel marking which joins the letter alif from the word al onto the sun letter itself, and it also allows the sun letter itself to be pronounced as well. So it does two things: joining one letter to the next and allowing that letter to be expressed by itself as well. Now, I'll go through a few examples just to show you what happens. Now, the word dubbun in Arabic means a bear. Now, if I wanted to say the bear, I can't say al-ad-dubbu or al-ad-dubbun, because the letter dal in the word bear is a sun letter. Hence, the rule which I talked about earlier applies to this particular word as well. Now, in this case, the alif joins onto the dal in the word al, and the lam is not pronounced because dal is a sun letter and it comes straight after the word the in Arabic. Now, when you join the alif to the dal, it becomes ad, not al, because lam is not pronounced. So, to say the bear, you say ad-dubbu. You cannot say al, because whenever a sun letter appears straight after the word al in Arabic, the lam, the la sound, i.e. al double a sound, is not pronounced. It becomes silent, and only the alif, the a sound, is pronounced. So therefore, it's ad-dubbu. And also, one last thing to note is that whenever you want to say the in English or Arabic, then that word or phrase has become specific. So it's no longer a general statement. Now, whenever a word has tanween on it, for example, as in bear, which is dubbun, that means a. The tanween, the bun sound indicates that it has tanween on it, and this also shows that it's a general statement. It means a bear. It doesn't mean a specific bear. Now, when you say the bear, it's specific. So to change something from unspecific to specific, you also have to lose the tanween, and in this case, the ba loses one of the shadda, and you only got one shadda left on the ba. So ad-dubbu means the bear, rather than dubbun, which means a bear. Now, I've illustrated the example where the lam has been taken out. Now, this is not the correct way to write it because it contradicts Arabic grammar, but this is just to illustrate the whole process. I'll go through a few more examples. Now, for example, tajun in Arabic means a crown. A crown is tajun, and the way to say the crown is at-taju, at-taju. There's like the shadda marking on the ta or on any other letter produces an echo sound. So whenever a shadda marking is present on a letter, there's some sort of an echo type sound produced. So you join the alif to the ta, and then you're also pronouncing the letter ta itself. So tajun becomes at-tajun, at-tajun. That slight echo sound is present. So at-tajun means the crown. Now, the same thing has happened again. The word al in Arabic, i.e. the, has come before the letter ta, which in this case is a sun letter. So the word al precedes a sun letter, so therefore the lam in al is not pronounced, and the alif joins onto the sun letter, and the sun letter will have to now have a shadda marking. This shadda marking joins the alif onto the ta and also allows the letter ta to be pronounced. I've illustrated the same example again by removing the lam letter in at-taju. Now this is not the correct way to write it, this is just as an illustration. So whenever the word al, the, precedes a sun letter, or you could say whenever a sun letter comes straight after the word the word al in Arabic, then the lam is lost in the word al, and that sun letter has to have a shadda marking. So the lam is not pronounced, so the alif joins onto the ta, so it becomes at-taju. And in reality this is how you actually pronounce it, and this is how you should consider that form of the whenever it comes before a sun letter. But even though it's not written like that, that's the actual rule behind it. So the way it's written is as follows: at-taju, but the lam is not pronounced, so it is as though the lam doesn't really exist. Now I'll go through a few more examples. For example, dhira'un, dhira'un. Once you put the word the al in front of dhira'un, you lose the tanween and the ayn, and you put a shadda marking on the sun letter itself, and the lam is not pronounced. So dhira'un becomes az-dhira'u. The same rules apply as to the previous examples that I gave. Now I'm going to go and give a few more examples just to illustrate the point a bit further. Zarafatun means a giraffe. So you can't say al-zarafatu. Why? Because the letter za in Arabic is a sun letter. So whenever a sun letter comes straight after the word al in Arabic, the sun letter itself has to have a shadda marking, and the lam in al becomes silent. So zarafatun becomes az-zarafatu, and the tanween and the letter ta is lost because tanween indicates something general, whilst the letter or the word al in Arabic or English indicates something specific. Now moving on to another example. Sa'atun means a clock. Now if you want to say the clock, the same rule applies. It will become as-sa'atu. As-sa'atu means the clock. The same thing has happened as in the previous examples. Now in this part of the lesson, I'm going to give a few examples where the word al, i.e. the word the in Arabic, is not at the beginning of a sentence. Whenever this occurs, then the a sound, i.e. the alif with a fatha, is not pronounced or read. To be more specific, the a or the alif sound in al is considered to be a weak letter. Therefore, it is silent whenever it is not at the beginning of a sentence. So whenever al is not at the beginning of a sentence, i.e. anywhere else other than the beginning of a sentence, then the alif in al is not pronounced. The alif is weak, so it's not pronounced. The grammar states the alif is not pronounced. Now I'll go and give a few examples. And the first example is: the boy is sitting and the teacher is standing. And the way you say this in Arabic is al-waladu jalisun wal-mudarrisu waqifun. I'll say it again quickly. Al-waladu jalisun wal-mudarrisu waqifun. But one thing to note, in this example, the word al is not pronounced when it's in the middle of a sentence. For example, wal-mudar, I pronounced it as wal-mudarrisu instead of al-mudarrisu. So the letter waw in Arabic, wa means and this is joined onto the lam because the alif in al is not pronounced. So what happens is the w sound or the waw in Arabic joins onto the lam in al, and the letter alif in al is not pronounced. So you say wal mudarrisu instead of wa al mudarrisu. Wa al mudarrisu is wrong because whenever al is in the middle of a sentence, or whenever al is not at the beginning of a sentence, to be more specific, then the alif in al is not pronounced, so the alif becomes silent. The lam will still have the sukoon, so the lam will join onto the letter which precedes the alif whilst the alif becomes silent. Now I'm just going to illustrate the example again. What's happened is the alif has disappeared. Even though this is not the correct way of writing it, this is just as an illustration to help further understand the concept. So what's happened is whenever the word al is in the middle of a sentence, i.e. not at the beginning of a sentence, then the alif in al is not pronounced. So basically you can think as though the alif is not present, and what happens is the letter or the word and will join onto lam in al, because alif is no longer present. It's a weak letter. But the correct way to write it would be wal mudarris, with the alif present even though the alif is not pronounced. Now here's the example again one last time. Al waladu jalisun, the boy is sitting. Wal mudarrisu waqifun. Wal mudarrisu, wa means and, al means the, but al is not pronounced because it's in the middle of a sentence, so the alif in al becomes silent and the waw joins onto the lam, so it becomes wal mudarrisu waqifun. So al waladu jalisun wal mudarrisu waqifun, the boy is sitting and the teacher is standing. The second example where the word al is not at the beginning of a sentence is the donkey is small and the horse is big. I didn't necessarily choose this example myself. I think this is from the Madina Arabic Book series. Now it's just for illustration purposes only. It's not necessarily that this is the most useful sentence in Arabic, or like you're going to use this sentence on a regular basis unless you work in a zoo, which I doubt many of you do. Okay, anyway. Now the example is al-himaru saghirun wal-hisanu kabirun. Now the one thing to note is whenever the word the is at the start of a sentence, whenever the word the is at the start or beginning of a sentence, then it's pronounced. So for example, al-himaru means the donkey, saghirun means small, but when you come to the word hiswanun, i.e. and the horse, the word the is not at the beginning of a sentence, so the alif will become silent because it's weak whenever it's not at the start of a sentence, and the waw, i.e. the word and, will join onto the lam in al, and then you read the remaining sentence the way it's written. So al-himaru saghirun wal-hisanu kabirun, the donkey is small and the horse is big. Another example is the book is new and the pen is old. Al-kitabu jadidun wal-qalamu qadimun. Al-kitabu jadidun wal-qalamu qadimun. The same thing is happening again. The first al is at the beginning of the sentence, so it's pronounced, while the second the is not at the beginning but it's found other than the start, so therefore you could say it's in the middle of a sentence. Because it's found in the middle of the sentence, it is not pronounced, i.e. the a in al is not pronounced. So the way you say is wal qalamu instead of al qalamu, due to this grammatical rule. Okay, I'll give two final examples to help further understand this concept. The sentence is as follows: the house is near and the mosque is far away. The way you say this is al-baytu qaribun wal-masjidu ba'idun. Al-baytu qaribun wal-masjidu ba'idun. Al-baytu, the house. Qaribun means close. Wal means the, and the. Because the second the is at the middle of the sentence, not at the beginning, you skip the a sound, so it'll become wal instead of al-masjidu. So al-baytu qaribun wal-masjidu ba'idun, just as the previous example was, where you skip the a sound when it was found, when the word the was found other than the start of the sentence. Now the final example is al-hajaru thaqilun wal-waraqu khafifun. The stone is heavy and the paper is light. Now if you look at the English sentence, the first word is the. Now because the, even in English, is at the start of this sentence, like it is in the Arabic, i.e. al-hajaru, then that al is pronounced. But the second the is not obviously at the start of the sentence, it's more or less in the middle. Even if it wasn't in the middle, or let's say it was quarter of the way in the sentence, that doesn't matter. The rule is whenever the word the is not found at the beginning of a sentence. That's the key point. Whenever the word the is not found at the beginning, then the alif, the a sound in al, will become silent. So let me read this final example, and I hope you've understood this concept. The stone is heavy and the paper is light. Al-hajaru thaqilun wal-waraqu khafifun. Al-hajaru thaqilun wal-waraqu khafifun. Now let's just say, for example, half of the sentence was missing, and we started at, for example, we started at the paper is light. If we wanted to say the paper is light, we would not say wal-waraqu, because waw is and it's linking one half of the sentence to the other part. So for example, if you just wanted to start in the middle, we won't say the waw, because you never start a sentence off with and, so we'll skip the and. We'll have to say wal waraqu khafifun, because then the word the, or i.e. al in Arabic, would be at the beginning of this new sentence. So the final example is al hajaru thaqilun wal waraqu, not wa al waraqu, but wal waraqu khafifun. Thank you for watching this lesson. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you've understood it quite well. Assalamu alaikum.